Hello everyone and welcome to the live stream. I hope that you're all doing good. Tonight we're gonna be hanging out for a few hours talking about a bunch of shit that's happened in the gaming industry and entertainment industry over the past few days. Boy oh boy, there has been a lot, guys, especially today. I feel like today it was just one thing after another thing. The day's not over yet, so maybe there'll be one more giant announcement today. But during the stream, we're going to be talking about, let me look. Actually, mostly things I haven't talked about on the channel yet. We're going to be talking about Troy Baker and the NFT situation. He announced that he was doing an NFT project for his voice. He was going to be doing some, like, partnership with VoiceVerse NFT, and well, of course, it's not a good situation. Hilariously enough, the firm admitted that it stole work after announcing the Troy Baker deal. Even though Troy Baker's whole thing when this was announced was, if you don't like it, you're a bad person. You can hate if you want, or you can create what will it be. And well, I'm gonna be honest, guys, this doesn't look very good. He's talking about creating things with when the firm that he's working with can't even create anything themselves. We're gonna be talking about Rust. I've covered Rust a couple of times on the channel, but there's been a little bit of an update because the Armorer has filed a lawsuit against the ammo supplier, and of course, Alec Baldwin is still being blamed for the killing of Helena Hutchins. No big surprise there. Even though he's gone off the fucking deep end and he said, it wasn't me, and he was acting like it was a goddamn ghost that shot the gun. There have now been more lawsuits filed in the Rust situation. I have absolutely no fucking sympathy for anyone that's part of this. I understand that people don't want their careers to be ruined and their lives to be ruined, but I'm gonna be honest, maybe you should have treated the gun like a real gun, and maybe we wouldn't be in the situation, and someone wouldn't have gotten hurt and another person wouldn't have lost their life. Absolutely no sympathy there. A new article about Joss Whedon came out, and boy oh boy, he threw all of the actors under the bus. He said that Ray Fisher is a bad actor. Joss, please stop speaking the truth. I can't defend you, buddy. Gal Gadot misinterpreted his comments in response to misconduct, and he kind of addresses the abuse allegations on the set of the Justice League, and he basically throws everyone under the fucking bus, and he's basically saying he's a good guy. You know, he's been painted as a villain for years, but he's not the one that's the villain. Everyone else are the people to blame. And Gal Gadot actually responded to this situation. She did make only a very brief statement, but she did respond to the situation. We're going to be talking about Microsoft. Goodness fucking gracious. I'm sure you've all heard about this situation, and if you haven't, we're going to be talking about it. Microsoft announced their plans to acquire Activision Blizzard for almost $70 billion. Goodness gracious. There's a lot of angles to take with this, because we're not just talking about Blizzard, we're talking about Activision Blizzard as a whole. So we're talking about things like Overwatch, Diablo, World of Warcraft, Call of Duty. We're talking about things like Candy Crush. Lots to talk about here. Definitely wasn't expecting to hear about a acquisition this massive in only January, but I guess Microsoft never sleeps. That's a point to make. Microsoft is very, very close to being Thanos with the Infinity Stones. I mean, what other companies can they get at this point? What other developers can they get at this point? I mean, wow. Absolutely a massive situation. And even though I've talked about it in some videos and last week's live stream, I did want to talk about the situation again. G4 TV. You guys know The G4 situation has been an absolute disaster. Frost Kieran went off on an unhinged rant on an episode of X-Play, and since then, their YouTube channels have lost thousands of subscribers. They lost more subscribers. The video that was posted, the clip that was posted on X-Play's official YouTube account, is over 30,000 dislikes, and they are actively removing posts from their subreddit. Like, lots of, sorry, this post has been removed by the moderators, and to make it even worse, their moderator list was public. So, like, when you go to the Reddit, you could, like, see the list of the moderators and who kind of manages the subreddit. Well, they decided to hide the moderator list after all of the backlash that they have faced over the situation. And I think that's, hey, listen. You get what you deserve. So yeah, those are the topics we're going to be discussing tonight. Welcome everyone. Hope your evening is going well. We'll get started with topics in just a minute or two. And hello. Hope you all are doing good. The Frost Kieran situation's a complete and utter fucking disaster. If they were smart, which they're not smart, if they were smart days ago, they would have came out and they would have made Frost Kieran apologize. If I was G4, I would have made her say something, not completely retracting her statements, but saying things like, you know, my statement was too generalized. There are toxic people out there, but our audience as a whole isn't that. Like, they could have damage controlled very quickly on. They should have, and they didn't. And it's only gotten worse for them. And I think that it's kind of, I think that it's kind of comical. Because, I'm going to be honest. I mean, listen. They've brought all of this anger on themselves. Why would you let a host go on an unhinged rant like that? And why would you promote it like it's a good, positive thing? I mean, they clearly knew that she was going to go on that rant. They clearly knew they wanted to clip it and push it on social media, on Twitter and Facebook. And that's exactly what they did. I mean, hey, that's your business plan. I don't know. I don't see any money coming in for you guys, but okay, if that's what you want. I guess to these people, any press is good press. But hi guys, hope your evening is going well. We'll get started in a minute. I think I'm going to talk about the Troy Baker situation first. It's a pretty quick one, but I still want to talk about it. I would never play any game she recommended. So I was looking at G4's content, like X-Play's content. What are they doing? They're literally putting up reviews of games from like 4, 5, 6 years ago. Like, I understand if we're talking about like a game that's considered like a masterpiece, a classic, an amazing title, right? But they're going back and reviewing like fucking Andromeda, and they're putting out giveaways for Anthem. Dude, you could go to GameStop and get a copy of Anthem for like under $5. Why would that make me subscribe to your shitty YouTube channel or your shitty Twitch channel for a copy of Anthem? My guys, you guys really are out of touch. I'm sorry. Like, they could be giving away copies of, like, really fucking good games, like, Game of the Year titles, and instead they're giving away fucking Anthem, and they're doing reviews for Mass Effect Andromeda? Who thought that that was a good idea, first of all? Backlash aside, controversy aside, who thought that those were the games that people wanted to see reviewed and talked about? Like, holy shit, that's terrible. Fake gamers. I mean, who in 2022 is talking about Andromeda besides them? And Anthem. Anthem. Out of all the games they could talk about, the thousands and thousands of games. And they're talking about those ones. I don't know. Someone needs to get fired if they want their channels to succeed. They were doing reviews for things like Dark Souls 3, which I guess is good, because, like, people like Dark Souls 3. But, like, why are we doing a Dark Souls 3 review? Why not talk about, like, best games of 2021, like Ghost of Tsushima Director's Cut, and, like, Resident Evil Village, and, like, I don't know. You could do a review on Fortnite and it would be more amusing than a review of Andromeda. The worst part is that you can clearly tell what they're doing with their channel and why they pick things like Andromeda, because they're basically taking it from the angle of, did these games deserve as much criticism as they got? They're basically shilling for the large companies that have put out games that have been heavily criticized. You can see what they're doing. Doesn't make it any better, but that's clearly what they're trying to do. They're just fucking defending, like, Anthem and Andromeda, saying, we were too mean to these developers. We were too mean about this game. We need to be nicer in 2022. It's so fucking bullshit. It's like, it was just a bad game. Get over it. Just go make another game, guys. You came out with a really shitty game. Go make another one.
Christopher donated $10.
Jesus. Thank you for the $10 donation.
Might as well talk about Winds of
Winter.
Winter.
Brother, that's never fucking happening. Winds of Winter. Never heard of her. That is... Jeez. Winds of Winter. We're not... We might still be alive when it releases. If we're lucky. Thank you for the donation, though. Fucking Winds of Winter. Mega lol. What a joke. What's a bigger joke? Winds of Winter? There's a possibility that Winds of Winter is gonna come out, though, so... I guess you gotta be fair. They do have a chance. Anthem is... man, Anthem is just not something I want to talk about. I was so excited for Anthem at first. I was hoping that Anthem was gonna be good. It's supposed to be the fucking Call of Duty, Halo, Destiny mix. It was supposed to be good. And, well, it ended up being really bad. Alright, guys, so let's move on to the first topic of the evening, which is the Troy Baker situation. Now, of course, I'm sure a lot of you already know who Troy Baker is, and if you don't, he has been in a lot of games. Death Stranding, Fortnite, The Last of Us. He's a very well-known voice actor in the industry, and he's obviously built up a fan base over the years. He's voiced a lot of very iconic roles, but he is also someone who decides to go on social media and make a lot of political statements and cause a lot of divide between his fans. And it was no surprise to see him recently shilling for a new NFT project. Now, I do not like NFTs. I have a bad feeling about NFTs in the gaming industry, and I'm sure a lot of you guys agree with that. But I want to read the initial situation, and then I'm going to read the update to the situation. So, let's start out with this first article. It's by GameSpot. It says, veteran and prolific voice actor Troy Baker is getting involved with NFTs. Strike number one, a voice actor pushing and shilling for NFTs. I think that that is a bad idea. Obviously, if there are individuals in the industry that think NFTs are going to be big and important, kind of the next wave of monetization, voice actors, developers are inevitably going to get involved with them. But where the industry is very divided on NFTs right now, you would think that maybe they'd take a step back and kind of reevaluate their decisions to shill NFTs. But it says he announced on Twitter that he is partnering with VoiceVerse NFT to think about what might be possible in the emerging market. He decided to put up this post. Oh, God. And it says, I'm partnering with VoiceVerse NFT to explore ways where together we might bring new tools to new creators to make new things and allow everyone a chance to own and invest the IPs they create. I listen, Troy Baker, this is a bad angle to take. We have a story to tell. You can hate or you can create. What will it be? And of course, to no one's surprise, after this was put up, there were people, you know, saying, we'll give it a chance. We like you, Troy Baker. But, to no one's surprise, he's faced a massive amount of backlash over this statement. It says he also seemingly had a message for those who don't believe in NFTs. He said you can hate or you can create what it'll be. I'm going to be honest, I'm going to hate. And it says, VoiceVerse says its voice-based NFTs are different from owning JPEGs. Voice NFTs provide intrinsic utility in addition to a fantastic community. You can't right-click either of these, the company explained. Imagine being able to create customized audiobooks, YouTube videos, e-learning lectures, or even podcasts with your favorite voice, all without the hassle of additional legal work. Honestly, it sounds pretty scammy to me. I'm just gonna be honest. But it says for creators, VoiceVerse said the original voice actor will receive royalty payments, and if the value of the NFTs rise, the voice actor will see a bump as well. But going to his tweet, let's just take a quick look at some of the responses, right? Everyone's very positive, uplifting, very nice. Definitely going to give NFTs a chance, right, guys? First comment, you can create this, and it's 2 fucking middle fingers. I think that this is hilarious. 28,000 likes. Someone said how Troy Baker assumed this would go. Oh man, this sounds amazing. Sign us up, Troy. Screw the haters. How this actually is going. Anti-NFT people and fans are hating on Troy Baker. Other voice actors are watching, and now everyone's slamming Troy Baker, and it's true. A lot of voice actors are very upset over this, and hey, I get why. Co-Carnage said, Step 1, read over all replies and quote tweets. Step 2, realize this is not the time for NFTs in the gaming space. Step 3, review any contracts you've signed to see how to get out of them. Step 4, withdraw from said contracts. Step 5, apology post stating said withdraw. And of course, as someone said he's not going to do any of those things, of course he didn't do any of those things. But he faced backlash over the initial situation, announcing that he was partnering with this VoiceVerse NFT place. He was going to be pushing voice NFTs. Oh. Ooh. NFT firm VoiceVerse admits it stole work after announcing Troy Baker deal. Comedy. You know, it's funny how life just slaps you in the face. You know, Troy? In wake of Troy Baker's NFT controversy, the companies he's partnered with has admitted to using someone else's work without credit. People already hate NFTs. So having situations like this happen make me hate them 10 times more than I already fucking did. I'm gonna be honest. So it says, you're unlikely to have missed the controversy over Troy Baker announcing his partnership. His announcement became instantly unpopular, both for the NFT involvement and his bizarrely aggressive approach to it, something he has actually apologized for, but he hasn't apologized for working with this company, just that he said you can hate or you can create. I'm gonna be honest, that it really doesn't matter that much to me. Whoopie-doo, he said you can hate or you can create. I'll hate if I want, screw you. But, however, partner VoiceVerse has now been accused of theft. Oh, what? A big voice actor working for a company, his social media team and his manager didn't investigate more to see if they had any bad accusations being made against them, and now they have even worse accusations being levied against them? Oh my gosh, I'm shocked. Shocked, I tell you. Voiceverse's whole deal is that it promises to sell voices as NFTs, allowing you to use them to create your own audio software. It once boasted using an AI-generated voice for an animation, except it turns out that that audio was stolen from someone else. Fuck Voiceverse, and fuck Troy Baker for promoting this shit. 100%. It says 15.ai is a text-to-speech service creating AI replicas of character voices such as GLaDOS from Portal, David Tennant's Doctor, My Little Pony characters. You guys get the point. It says the key difference is that the software is completely free, with the only stipulations being that 15.ai be created and linked back to, plus you can't mix it with any other text-to-speech software. Upon the creators accusing Voiceverse of using their software without an acknowledgement, the animation was deleted from Voiceverse's Twitter and it publicly apologized. Voiceverse NFT actually tweeted out, "Hey, we are extremely sorry about this. The voice was indeed taken from your platform, which our marketing team used without giving proper credit. Chibiverse team has no knowledge of this. We will make sure this never happens again." So it's not just that they were being accused of stealing this. They were accused of stealing this voice, and they had to go on social media, take down any posts regarding this, and they had to publicly apologize because they did, in fact, steal it. I would, if I'm Troy Baker, I would try to get as far away from them as possible. But he kind of ruined, I don't know if I want to say ruined his image with people, but he did damage it when he started pushing voice NFTs and started promoting this company, because he had never really made tweets or made comments about NFTs in the gaming industry before, so it came across as very last minute, like they offered him this deal, he just took it, and no one did their research. You would think that he would work for better companies, but alas, we see what happened now. Comedy writes itself. So that's all that I really had to talk about with that. I am not a supporter of NFTs in the gaming industry. I have talked about it. You know, I try to be open-minded with things, and I try to give things a fair chance. Like with loot boxes, you know, when they started introducing loot boxes, I 100% tried to give them a chance. I tried to keep an open mind about them, and well, we see what fucking happened. It turned into complete garbage. And I think the same thing is going to happen with NFTs, because people pushing NFTs are saying, oh, you know, you're buying into this, it's an investment, you know, you're never going to lose money. It's not true. It all exists on a blockchain, and if that blockchain disappears, your product disappears. So that's all that I really had to talk about with that situation. Give me 2 seconds, guys. I have to move my fan. Give me approximately 2 seconds. Okay, all good. But, yeah. Fun times, guys. You would think that a big voice actor would actually have his team research a company and actually see if a company's good, and, well, he didn't. Because these accusations were not new. Because these accusations were something that had already existed on social media that people were just bringing back up when the Troy Baker situation started. So, yeah. Hey, it is what it is. I think that it's hilarious that he's faced this backlash, because people like Troy Baker, they don't actually care about what gamers want. They just care about making money at the end of the day, which I don't necessarily blame them for, because, like, it's their job to promote products and do voice work and stuff, but, I mean, how many people want NFTs in the gaming industry? Not many. Most people don't. Most people are against the ideas of NFTs being pushed into games, and I 100% agree. I am not a supporter. I'm not someone who is, who's feeling very hopeful about it. Let's just put it that way. Troy Baker's done a lot in the past. He is someone that's attacked fans. He's criticized fans for not liking games that he's been a part of. He's not someone that can take criticism very well. But thank you, Montana Black, for the $9.99 super sticker. Much appreciated. But Troy Baker is someone who just doesn't really learn. He doesn't really listen to his audience. But at the end of the day, it is what it is. I think that it's fucking hilarious. All this criticism. And we're not talking about people just being mad in general. We are talking about people who are just disappointed with the fact that he was pushing for a company that he had no really knowledge of if they were good or not. Loot boxes were cool until people were able to realize how much money they could make off of it. True. I don't hate the idea of loot boxes, but I only support very specific types of loot boxes, like cosmetic loot boxes. I do not support loot boxes that have like actual like buffs, boosts, items with stats attached to them. Like, I'll buy loot boxes in specific games that I think are good, where they're just cosmetics. But otherwise, you know, we see how companies fucked with loot boxes and how far they kind of pushed it with loot boxes, and they're gonna try probably the same exact thing with NFTs. There's a reason Troy rhymes with soy. 100%. Also, thank you all for being here. 101 viewers. Much appreciated. Give the stream a like if you guys are enjoying. We're gonna move on to the next topic. It's going to be a relatively quick one, just because it's a little bit of an update. Hashtag YouTube instantly will demonetize my stream now because I'm talking about Rust, and whenever I talk about Rust, it's an instant demonetization. So fun. Great times, guys. I have talked about Alec Baldwin in the Rust situation a couple times on the channel now. It's an absolutely terrible situation, and it's really fucking sad. And the worst part is that no one wants to take the blame. Obviously, no one wants their careers ruined. No one wants their lives to be messed with. But when you've got someone like Alec Baldwin going into interviews saying, I'm the victim, you really can't feel bad for them. So, in a not really shocking turn of events, the Rust armorer who had previously blamed Alec Baldwin for the situation on the set of Rust is now filing a lawsuit against the ammo supplier, and of course she is still blaming Alec Baldwin for the tragedy. It says armorer Hannah Reed has filed a lawsuit against Seth Kenny and PDQ Arm and Prop LLC that claims that disgraced actor Alec Baldwin ignored a request to attend a cross-draw session prior to the tragic incident on the film set, which ended the life of Helena Hutchins and injured the film's director, Joel Souza. There's been a lot of he said, she said with the situation. There's been a lot of people saying, oh, it was his fault. There's been people defending him saying, oh, it couldn't be his fault. He's just an actor. It's the armorer's fault, and it's this person's fault and that person's fault. It's basically everyone just pointing the fingers at each other because no one wants to take the blame and admit that they did wrong on the set of the film. But there's still a lot of details we don't know that have not been confirmed. We had heard previously that on the set of the movie, Alec Baldwin was basically playing around with the guns, treating them as though they were just like toys, like there was no proper safety on set, that no one was really taking safety seriously, and obviously that is a giant problem. There have been a lot of tragic accidents that have happened on sets of movies, and you'd think by now that armorers and actors and producers would take safety seriously on the sets of films, but they still don't. It says, though, according to the 24-page lawsuit filed on Wednesday by the film's armorer, Reed alleges that Kenny and PDQ Arm & Prop LLC violated New Mexico's Unfair Trade Practices Act, created a dangerous condition, used false and deceptive product labels as well as false and material misrepresentations, and breached their contract. She is demanding a trial by jury for compensatory, punitive, and treble damages, as well as costs and expenses of the case. This is more than just, I'm suing because something went wrong that they did. We can clearly tell that she's suing because when you're suing, it makes you look like you're the innocent one who feels like they've been wronged, and that's something we've seen a lot in this case. People have been suing each other. People have been suing Alec Baldwin and the armorer and the production staff, and we've seen a lot of lawsuits around this situation. And it's just fucking sad, because I really don't think that we're going to get an answer to this anytime soon. And that Helena Hutchins' family is going to be able to get an answer anytime soon. And that ultimately should be the #1 priority here, is being able to figure out the true situation. But instead you have Alec fucking Baldwin going into interviews going, I didn't do it. Whoever did it, though, they should be held responsible. It comes across as though he's just viewing it as like a joke almost. Like, I didn't do it. I don't know who did. Even though it has been reported many, many times that it was he who pulled the trigger. He was the one that made the 911 call. He was the one who said that he had shot Helena Hutchins. I don't know what his legal team is saying, but even I can tell that they've got to go. It says, while the lawsuit is aimed at the Arm & Prop LLC, it provides Reed's account of the events leading up to and following the death of Helena Hutchins. Specifically, it confirms reports that there were multiple negligent discharges on the set before the killing. The suit states on October 16th, 5 days prior to the tragic shooting on the Rust set, Sarah had an accidental discharge of a weapon on set, firing a blank round at her foot. Within 15 to 20 minutes of that accidental discharge, Baldwin's stunt double accidentally discharged a round from his weapon inside a cabin on the set nearby, as confirmed and reported by the LA Times on November 20th. According to the lawsuit, Sarah is Sarah Zachary, who has hired as props manager, and she was responsible for obtaining and maintaining all movie props for Rust. Along with Zachary, the suit details that production has also hired Sarah's future sister-in-law as props assistant. So this is just another unfortunate lawsuit that basically is being filed so that there's more of a trail of Hannah saying her events of what she recalls and her side of the story. It's an absolutely tragic and fucking terrible situation that someone lost their life and no one wants to take accountability for it. And like I said, you know, as soon as someone admits that it was their fault, they're gonna face lawsuits, they're gonna face backlash, their careers are gonna be over. If it's the armorer, if it's Alec Baldwin, whoever it may be. Either way, though, her family deserves an answer. And at first, a lot of people did feel kind of bad for Alec Baldwin. Which, yeah, I mean, he made it seem like it was a complete and utter accident. He had no clue how it happened. And then, a couple weeks ago, I talked about it in a live stream and I think a video, he had came out during an interview that made him look like the victim, saying, oh, I don't know who did it, but whoever did it deserves to be held responsible. Alec, I don't know if you own a mirror, but you should go out and get one. So that's all that I really had to talk about with this. Absolutely terrible situation. Just, I cannot believe that he went into an interview just to paint himself as the victim. Holy shit. How fucking full of yourself do you have to be? Because you want your career to be saved? Definitely didn't make him look like a good guy in the situation. It made him look like a scumbag. It sounds like everyone who is present is in some way culpable. Yeah, I mean, hey, who really knows what the true story is? Because, of course, everyone's playing the he said, she said, pointing the fingers game. But it seems like everyone had something to do with it, even if it was just small, even if it was maybe not reporting something that happened on set with safety. If, you know, someone didn't load something properly, someone placed something somewhere where it wasn't supposed to be, mishandling the weapon. It just seems like everyone has something to do with this case. Everyone's involved in some way, shape, or form. So, yeah. No surprise here. As the weeks continue, I'm sure that we are going to see more lawsuits, more statements from people like the armorer, Alec Baldwin. I have no fucking sympathy for these people, though. Absolutely none. None at all whatsoever. Someone needs to be held responsible. And I guess we'll see who that's going to be. Armorer, producer, AD, Alec Baldwin are responsible. Yeah, it just seems like everyone is responsible in some way. Every safety procedure failed. That's almost impossible. Yeah, well, it might be almost impossible, but it's not completely impossible. Jesus. I want to say I'm surprised that so much went wrong here. And I wish I could just call it a series of unfortunate events, but it seems like everyone knew that there were a lot of problems going on, and no one had a solution, and no one tried to fix it before it was too late. And then something terrible happened, and no one wants to take responsibility now. All four are responsible? Yeah. He could also just be acting sorry. That's the thing, is that Alec Baldwin isn't even... that's why I said almost yeah, right? The thing with Alec Baldwin is he's not even fucking trying to act sorry or remorseful. He literally went into the interview and said he feels no guilt over the situation. Even if I was in his shoes, right? And let's say he didn't do anything. Let's say, for argument's sake, you know, if I was in his shoes, I didn't do anything. That is still someone you worked with every day. Like, of course you would feel fucking guilt and you would feel terrible about the situation. That's just being a human being. And he said that he didn't feel anything over it. He feels no guilt. Because he's the one that's innocent. What a douchebag. Incompetence was the executive producer. 100%. 100 fucking percent. I can't believe that so many things went wrong on the set of this movie. And we hear about accidents happening with prop weapons, stunt doubles, actors getting hurt on sets of movies. But this is like, those situations are usually like one thing happened. With this movie, nothing was right. Everything was fucked up on the set of this film. Nothing was safe. Nothing was looked over. Nothing was good. I don't understand. They half-assed it so badly. Mountain Dew Spark, raspberry lemonade. He did it on purpose? I don't know. I mean, we'll have to see as time goes on and more reports come out. As far as we know, he didn't do it on purpose. There's really no evidence to back that up. Besides the fact that he definitely doesn't seem like he's all there. Baldwin is just waiting this out, then he'll go back to work on his next project like nothing happened. Probably. I mean, let's be honest. Probably. Unfortunately, that's just That's just kind of what happens. It's a shame. Someone needs to be held responsible. Thank you for the 500 yen. I think that's like... How much? Like $5? 2 USD. Yeah, thank you so much for the donation. Much appreciated. Thank you, thank you. Indeed, everyone is responsible. 100%. It seems like everyone with this movie had something to do with something going wrong. In some way, shape, or form. Thank you for the CA2. Much appreciated. Thanks for the donations, guys. If you guys want to support the channel, the best way is via YouTube memberships or through Streamlabs. Because Streamlabs doesn't take a 40% like YouTube does. Thank you guys for the support. Much appreciated. The only one responsible for a gun is the holder. It's a hard situation. Everyone's got their own opinions. I definitely hope that we hear more about the situation in the future. Maybe we get some more statements. Only time will tell, though. Support from Ontario. Well, thank you, thank you. Alright, guys. We are going to move into the next discussion in just a second, which is going to be Joss Whedon. Everyone's favorite guy. Joss Whedon, Ray Fisher, everyone's favorite guys. Favorite director, favorite actor. I know you guys are waiting for the situation. You guys are so excited. You're jumping out of your seats ready with anticipation. Super hyped to hear about Joss Whedon. Right? Right, chat? You guys are really, really hyped, aren't you? YouTube takes 40% of super chat and sticker donations. The worst part of the situation is the whole thing happened not due to a bunch of freak occurrences, but because of incredible negligence. 100%. That truly and genuinely, I agree, is the worst fucking part of the situation. It's not like one thing accidentally happened. We're talking about one person not doing their job, the armorer not doing their job, the actor not doing his job, producers not doing their job, people not enforcing safety on the set. We're talking about problem after problem after problem. It's terrible. 1 second, guys. So YouTube takes 30, but I am part of an MCN. So it's 40% total. I just want to know why someone who is an activist for taking people's guns away, why is he doing a movie with guns? Because he's an actor. And he feels like, oh, I'm just acting with it. Even if it's a prop, not real. He's still looking for that sweet, sweet money. It is what it is. Actors do it all the time. Oh, they hate guns, they hate promoting this and that, and then you see them in films. And look what they're doing. Alright, guys. So we're going to move on to the next topic, which is going to be Joss Whedon. Now, I've talked my fair share about Joss Whedon, Ray Fisher, the Justice League in general. A lot of people hate Joss Whedon with a burning passion. A lot of people hate Ray Fisher with a burning passion. It's bad person versus bad person. Shitty director versus shitty actor. But Joss Whedon decided to break his silence on the allegations and the accusations that have been made against him on the set of Justice League. And boy, oh boy, I don't know why. I don't know why he decided to do this, but he fucking did. Own chat platform that allows 100% to go to the streamer. Yeah, so guys, I mentioned it before, but I guess I'll mention it again really quickly. I could not get my channel monetized. I couldn't. And luckily, you know, an MCN was willing to help me out, and I got my channel monetized. But YouTube refused to monetize my channel unless I had an MCN backing me. So even though they take 10%, they do help out the channel, and without them, the channel wouldn't be monetized at all. So YouTube takes 30% of donations via stickers, super chats, and then the MCN takes 10%. But, yeah, YouTube wouldn't monetize my channel. So I had to have an MCN behind my channel. So that's why 40% of any revenue gets taken away. It's that way for a lot of creators. A lot of large creators have MCNs behind them. Because, like, if someone tries to file complaints against me, the MCN handles it. But yeah, that's why the best way to support is through Streamlabs, direct donations via PayPal, stuff like that. But yeah, without the MCN, YouTube refused to monetize me. So 40% goes to YouTube, and then, well, 30% goes to YouTube, and then the 10% goes to the MCN. Are you on Twitch? I do not actively stream on Twitch. I have a Twitch channel, just in case anything ever happened to YouTube. Like I have a lot of other platforms set up in case anything was to happen. My channel mirrors to other platforms, like things like BitChute, but I do not actively stream anywhere else. That's pretty bullshit from YouTube. 100%. My channel I didn't have monetization on until like last year around this time. Because for like a year and a half, they wouldn't monetize me. But on to Joss Whedon, guys. Joss Whedon decided to come out and address the abuse accusations from the set of the Justice League, and he decided to do probably the worst possible thing, and that's attack actors and take none of the blame from the set of the movie. He decided to basically say, everyone else was the problem. I'm the good guy. You all should feel bad for me. It says Avengers director Joss Whedon finally spoke about what went down during Justice League reshoots and all the accusations thrown at him since 2020 about toxic behavior, some of them serious but in a somewhat unsurprising twist. He is trying to turn things around on the cast. Discussing his time on the blockbuster superhero flick with Vulture, Whedon said they were rude to him and he never met a ruder group of people, while also denying Gal Gadot's accusations that he threatened her career. I've talked about these accusations that have been made against him before. He sounds like a truly fucking disgusting person. And I'm not saying that all of the actors were 100% correct. They were all only the victims. But boy, oh boy, did they give us a good picture of how much of a piece of garbage Joss Whedon is. It says he would claim that it was a misunderstanding caused by English being the Israeli actress's second language and his own flowery verbiage despite Gadot's fluency in English and other tongues. He's literally using the excuse, oh, she misunderstood me because she doesn't speak English well enough. Oh my fucking god. The angles that you could take, and this is the one that you take. Jesus Christ. It says, I don't threaten people. Who does that? English is not her first language, and I tend to be annoyingly flowery in my speech. my guy, listen. I don't like you, Joss Whedon. I will never like you, Joss Whedon. But saying that she misinterpreted your words because she's not fluent in English when clearly she is, that is terrible. A lot of people already didn't like him. A lot of people already didn't respect him. Any respect that anyone had for him probably went down the drain. Also, thank you for the $2 sticker. Much appreciated. He added she misinterpreted a snarky comment about tying him to a railroad track and changing a scene over his dead body when reports say the opposite. Then I was told that I had something about her dead body and tying her to a railroad track. Guys, this is another he said, she said situation. When New York Magazine reached out, Godot responded that she understood perfectly. An unnamed actress who worked on the Buffy spinoff Angel came forward to New York Magazine as well to back up Godot and contradict Whedon's denial of threatening people or careers. There are a lot of people who are saying, and who have said, that he's threatened careers. If they don't do what he wants, that he basically says something could happen to your career. Gal Gadot said this. Ray Fisher said this. I mean, even look at other actors. Ben Affleck fucking hated Joss Whedon. Henry Cavill didn't like Joss Whedon. There's a lot of people that do not like this guy. I don't think that it's a misinterpretation with all of them. It says, wow, he's still using that line, the unknown actress said while sharing a story of him calling her at home to tell her she was never going to work for him or 20th Century Fox again after her manager tried to get her a raise. Between the tenor of his counter to all the claims and retorts of others calling him out as Godot did, many feel his attempt to absolve himself hasn't worked. Making it worse for Whedon is the fact that fans on social media are siding again with the victims in Justice League actor Ray Fisher. I personally do not like Ray Fisher. I've talked about it before. We're talking about a shitty director versus a stuck-up actor. Not a fan of either of them. But even if you're stuck up, full of yourself, you know, when you sign a contract, it should be upheld. You shouldn't be treated like complete garbage on the set of a film, obviously. Human beings should be kind of nice to each other. Let's be honest. It says, though, he largely sparked the investigation into his conduct and the director's downfall with a series of posts and comments shedding light on circumstances during the reshoots in 2017, which cut out most of Cyborg's story and screen time that turned out to be hefty in the Snyder Cut. I've said it before, I think that the Snyder Cut is good. I thought that all the actors, some did way better than others. Like, I didn't think that Cyborg's story was terrible in it. I just felt like it was kind of there, though. I did feel it was fair that he got more screen time because we saw, you know, origins for other characters. We got the stories behind the other characters, and I think that that's fair. But just seems like all these people are pretty fucking terrible. This is a tweet. It says, this interview makes Joss Whedon seem an even worse person. It says, on our second day of interviews, I asked Whedon about his affairs on the set of Buffy. He looked worse than he had the day before. His eyes were faintly bloodshot. He hadn't slept well. I feel fucking terrible about them. When I pressed him on why, he noted it messes up the power dynamic. But he didn't expand on that thought. Instead, he quickly added that he felt he had to sleep with them, that he was powerless to resist. I'm not actually joking, he said. He had been surrounded by beautiful young women, the sort of women who had ignored him when he was younger, and he feared if he didn't have sex with them, he would always regret it. The fuck? Bro, take a step back. My man, listen. This is unhinged. Who's more unhinged? Joss Whedon or Frost Kieran? I don't know. I don't know. I'd say Joss Whedon at this point because he's threatening to ruin people's careers if they don't do what he wants. Jesus Christ. It says, looking back, he feels shame and horror, he said. I thought he had told me earlier, a vampire, he said, is the exalted outsider, a creature that feels less than everybody else and also kind of more than everyone else. There's this insecurity and arrogance. Man, fuck Joss Whedon. Holy shit. This guy is full of himself. Listen. Sometimes, it's just, my goodness. Sometimes people make statements, right? And they're taken out of context and they're blown out of proportion. But the worst part of this is that we know that's not true here. That's the worst part. Oh my god. Ew, Joss Whedon. I think Joss Whedon needs some help. I mean, he makes his life sound like a story. Specifically, he told Vulture, we're talking about a malevolent force. We're talking about a bad actor in both senses. Whedon insists he spent hours discussing the charges with Fisher and that their conversations were friendly and respectful. None of the claims Fisher made in the media were either true or merited discussing, Whedon told me. Hearing this, Fisher returned to Twitter and said, looks like Joss Whedon got to direct an Endgame after all. Rather than address all of the lies and the buffoonery today, I am celebrating the legacy. Martin Luther King Jr. Tomorrow the work continues. Concluding the Vulture interview, he blamed Snyder Cut supporters and the internet as the real culprits of this whole mess. Of course, you can't admit that you did something wrong. You can't admit that you fucked up, that you treated people terribly. It says the beginning of the internet raised me up and the modern internet pulled me down. The perfect symmetry is not lost to me. Shut the fuck up, Thanos ripoff, okay? The perfect balance. You have serious accusations being made against you. He is acting like this is all just like a massive joke. Like, people love him and people think that he's great and people are gonna defend him no matter what comes out about him, and he's acting so full of himself. My God. Your reputation has been dragged through the dirt. Your reputation has been annihilated on social media. Do you really think that it's smart to come out and make statements about the internet is the real culprit? Grace Randolph also chimed in, and she believes the internet should leave Whedon alone to let him self-destruct. Honestly, I don't agree with a lot that Grace Randolph says, but maybe people should just not give him the time of day because clearly he gets off on people talking about him. And maybe we should just let him slip into oblivion. Because all he does is all he's doing is ruining his reputation, the little good that he has left. He's making himself look like the villain. And no one wants to work with him again. But Gal Gadot actually had made a bit of a response to this. This is a tweet I had seen. It says, in response to Joss Whedon's recent criticisms of the Justice League cast, Gal Gadot says that she will never work with him again. She said, I will never work with him and would never suggest any of my peers to work with him in the future. This isn't really that surprising. Clearly, she had a massive issue on set with him. A lot of people did. I mean, Ben Affleck doesn't want anything to do with his character anymore. Ben Affleck was like, fuck Joss Whedon and fuck the Justice League. Henry Cavill also had problems on the set of the movie. Gal Gadot had her problems. She said that her career was threatened. Ray Fisher said the same thing. He had said, my career was threatened. Overall, I mean, Joss Whedon already looked like a piece of shit, but he looks like even more of a piece of shit. coming out and blaming everyone but himself for problems. It's not like he went into this and said, listen, I had my problems on the set of the movie. I was a really bad person. I was going through a lot. Like, it's not like he tried to come out and say, I acknowledge my fuck-ups. I acknowledge I had a problem, and I acknowledge that I treated people poorly, and I just want to apologize to people. It's not like he did that. He literally blamed the internet, the actors, the atmosphere of Hollywood. He blamed literally everyone and everything else. He would blame his fucking dog if he could. But he didn't take a look in the mirror and see that he was the main problem. But that's all that I really had to discuss with the Justice League. Joss Whedon, just go away. I'm gonna be honest. I don't want to hear about Joss Whedon anymore. He's a piece of garbage. He's threatening people's careers. He's treating actors like shit. That shouldn't be acceptable. And I truly and genuinely hope he fades into oblivion. I hope that we hear nothing else about him. I hope it's quiet going forward. Nothing. Silence. The sound of fucking silence when it comes to Joss Whedon. Pile of absolute garbage. So guys, next we're going to move into Microsoft. We'll move into this conversation in a minute. Vera really hates Whedon. Yeah, I mean, I feel like most people do, though, let's be honest. He's a piece of garbage. You shouldn't be... Even let's look at someone like Ray Fisher. I don't like Ray Fisher. I think that Ray Fisher's done a lot wrong. He's acted very stuck up and selfish himself. That doesn't mean an actor deserves to be treated like shit or their careers be threatened. I don't think that. Even if I don't like the actor, I don't think that their career should be threatened if they don't do something specific or if they have, you know, complaints. Guys, if you're enjoying the stream, give it a like. If you're not, give it a dislike. Check out the links in the description and in chat. Become a YouTube member. Patreon. Donate via Streamlabs. Tomorrow night, guys, I'm going to be doing a supporter-only stream. Fun. But, yeah, we'll move into Microsoft in just a minute. These people are allergic to taking responsibility 100% freaking %. No one wants to take accountability and responsibility for their actions and the things that they've done. How to lose respect 101. I would much rather him just say, like, listen, I had my problems on the set of the movie. I didn't act right. I did say things that I regret. Even though we're inevitably probably not really going to believe all the words that he says. Saying something like you feel apologetic and then trying to change your actions and change the way that you act sometimes can definitely change the perception people have of you. But when you're literally blaming everyone but yourself and you're clearly the problem, no one's going to support you again. And that's what's happening with Joss Whedon. Alright guys, so let's move on to the next topic of the evening, which is going to be Microsoft. Now this was announced today, and I'm sure a lot of you guys have heard about it so far, and this is an absolutely crazy situation. In 2022, I expected to see some more acquisitions by large gaming companies. I expected to hear some news. But within the first month of 2022, we have seen an absolutely fucking gigantic acquisition happened because Microsoft has announced their plans to acquire Activision Blizzard for right under $70 billion. This is absolutely nutso. Absolutely fucking nutso. There's a lot of reasons why they would do this. Let's be honest. Lots of different IPs that can make lots of money. I guess if any company was going to do it, it was going to be Microsoft. Microsoft is the only one that has money to throw around like this. But it says, despite the latter's ongoing controversies, Microsoft has announced a purchase of Activision Blizzard to the tune of $68.7 billion. I did not have this on my 2022 bingo card. I'm just going to be honest. I didn't have this on a bingo card for the year. It says, according to an official announcement released today, Microsoft will acquire the video game publisher for $95 per share in a deal that's set to make the Xbox parent company the world's third largest gaming company by revenue, behind Tencent and Sony. As noted, this acquisition will put such popular series such as Call of Duty, Candy Crush, World of Warcraft, Diablo, and Overwatch under the control of Microsoft. This isn't just Blizzard. This is Activision Blizzard and other developers that they own. We're talking about some of the largest IPs in the gaming industry. Call of Duty is absolutely massive. Candy Crush, massive. World of Warcraft, Diablo, Overwatch. We know that there are a lot of projects in the works. We know that they're doing the new Diablo 4 game and Diablo Immortal. Who cares about that? Overwatch 2. We don't know what they're going to do with World of Warcraft when they're doing new expansions, but we know that that's ongoing. Call of Duty, every single year there's a new entry into the franchise, into the series. We're talking about a powerhouse in the industry. It says, meanwhile, current Activision Blizzard CEO Bobby Kotick, who has found himself the target of widespread derision in recent months for his handling of the ongoing sexual misconduct and workplace harassment accusations levied at his company, will continue to serve as CEO of Activision Blizzard, and he and his team will maintain their focus on driving efforts to further strengthen the company's culture and accelerate business growth. It is being said from journalists online that in 2023, once this deal fully goes through, Bobby Kotick will be kind of stepping out of the light. He'll just kind of be fading off into oblivion, maybe. But for now, obviously, he's still going to be running everything. He's still going to be the CEO of Activision Blizzard. In a couple years, that may change. But it says, yeah, once the deal closes, the Activision Blizzard business will report to Phil Spencer, CEO Microsoft Gaming. It says, this massive purchase appears to have been done with a large focus on the potential metaverse of video games, with company CEO and chairman writing in an announcement, gaming is the most dynamic and exciting category in entertainment across all platforms today, and will play a key role in the development of metaverse platforms. As it says, Game Pass is also planned to include bringing Activision Blizzard games to its 25 million subscribers, and the transaction will be fully closed in the fiscal year of 2023. There is a lot with this situation. Basically, at this point, what companies truly and genuinely does Microsoft need to be the Thanos, to be the Thanos of the gaming industry with the fucking Infinity Stones? The only other company I can really think of is like Ubisoft. I'm sure that there's others that we could throw in there, but this is an absolutely massive purchase.
Do you think Microsoft will fix WoW?
Thank you for the $5 donation, much appreciated. It's hard to say because, first of all, it's really weird to have to say Microsoft owns World of Warcraft now, and I think a lot of people will agree with that. But there's a lot of different IPs here that they have to work with and they have to kind of evaluate the future of. I I love a lot of Blizzard's games. A lot of their franchises I think are really, really good. And I think that we should be positive that maybe they will take Activision Blizzard, take these games, and run with them, do really good with them. But at the same time, it's really, really hard to... It's really hard to expect results when we are only just hearing about the situation. Do you guys know what I mean? Ultimately, this is about going into a streaming war. Companies want monthly subscription money, and Microsoft is so far ahead now. They've got Game Pass, and they've got titles like World of Warcraft, which have millions and millions of monthly subscribers. I mean, at the end of the day, this is just it's this is a giant acquisition. I mean, you have to consider we're $70 billion, guys. If you look at shit like Star Wars, that's sold for like $4 billion. Look at the recent Take-Two situation. That was $12 billion. Bring back StarCraft. Microsoft make a new Age of Empires, so maybe StarCraft 3 will happen by 2028. A lot of people on Twitter are saying that they should release StarCraft Ghosts, the game that they had canceled a long time back. They should finally release that. There's a lot of different things that we could consider, guys. There's a lot of different things that we obviously hope will happen with this acquisition. But holy shit. We could see massive changes. We already were going to see massive changes with things like Bethesda, because of course now we're going to see exclusive Bethesda games. Bethesda games exclusive to Xbox. Imagine, you know, some of Blizzard's titles being Microsoft exclusives now. I don't know if we're going to see, you know, drastic changes like, you know, Overwatch 2 not being on a certain console, obviously, but things like year after year Call of Duty. Call of Duty, Blizzard had deals with Sony for Call of Duty. Sony platforms would get more content. They'd get the game released in beta like a week early, 2 weeks early. They'd get more beta tests. Like there are a lot of deals in place with these other companies, and we could see a massive shift in content. I think that Overwatch 2 is gonna, like, it's still gonna come out on every platform. It's still gonna come out on PlayStation. It's gonna come out on Xbox, PC. Diablo 4, same thing. But going forward, year after year, you have to look at the continuing and reoccurring IPs like Call of Duty, Candy Crush, Giant. Unfortunately, StarCraft has kind of been left in the dirt, in the dust. But maybe we'll see something with StarCraft as well. Ultimately, it's just a big fucking middle finger to companies like Sony. It really is. Let's be honest, guys. Sony might be a big company. Nintendo might be a big company. But Microsoft is over here with the fucking in almost all the Infinity Stones at this point. Let me read chat. Money doesn't equal creative or well-made content. True, but it definitely can help go in a better direction. It's like we talk about Elder Scrolls 6 in Bethesda. Look at how much more money they probably are throwing at that project now, and how much better it will be because of that acquisition. Even though money doesn't necessarily mean a project will be perfect, it does help its potential success, and definitely can help it go in a better direction. More people, larger scale, bigger budget, more content. My mom loves Candy Crush. Guys, as a female gamer, I know I'm supposed to love the mobile games. I'm supposed to love Candy Crush. I do not care about Candy Crush. I just don't. StarCraft Ghosts was canned. Yeah, but a lot of people are now hoping that we're going to see a revival in StarCraft. Which could always happen. I mean, ultimately, we don't know. It's still going to be years before this goes all the way through and before we even see a shift in content. I mean, it's not going to be completed until 2023. So, we've still got plenty of time. I'm sure they're not going to be making hard and heavy decisions anytime soon. I hope that with this they'll stop with the yearly COD releases. I do not think that they're going to stop with the yearly COD releases. I think that they see how much money yearly COD releases rake in, and I think they're going to continue doing them. Microsoft will buy Ubisoft next. I don't know. Maybe. Maybe not. I don't know. But I do know that there are still a few companies that Microsoft could get their claws into, like a Ubisoft. I definitely wasn't expecting to hear about something as massive as this happening, but Microsoft is just, as I like to say, Microsoft is showing the gaming industry their money dick right now. Microsoft is going, oh, look at this. Oh, you bought a company for $12 billion. Oh, you bought a developer for $4 or $5 billion. Whap. $70 billion. Microsoft is really out here whipping around their money dick going, wow, look at what we can do. We can spend money too. EA, true. Maybe we'll see some more shakeups in the future, guys. Okay. Out of any company, doesn't matter who owns them, if they're indie, if they're not indie, what is a company, a development company, you guys would like to see someone like a Microsoft acquire? An EA, a Ubisoft, whatever the case may be. Microsoft's next purchase, Steam. Yeah, guys, not very long ago, I would have said we're getting very conspiracy here, and we should probably put our tinfoil hats away. And, obviously, these companies are not going to be bought and sold. But, we're talking about a fucking $70 million purchase here. I'm gonna be real. I'm going to buy a new roll of aluminum foil for some tinfoil hats because I think I'm ready to start with the conspiracies here. CDPR. See, that's a good one. One I didn't even think about. CD Projekt Red, honestly. Listen, Microsoft, listen. Just 70 billion here, 8 billion here. Just throw them another 10 million. Who cares at this rate? Current CDPR needs a shakeup. I agree. I'm so disappointed with the current state of CD Projekt Red. Obviously, they've done good. They've done bad. Definitely would be interesting, though. True, Microsoft does have Game Pass deals with EA. Microsoft has way more money than anyone else in entertainment, like I said. But they only have a small gaming division, true. It is true that EA Play, I think it's called, the games are on Game Pass, so they do already have deals with Microsoft. Who knows? Maybe we'll see another shakeup sometime soon. I will move on to the final topic in just a minute, guys, but I just kind of wanted to get everyone's opinion and speculations. I don't want Microsoft to buy any Japanese companies. Fair enough. Crystal Dynamics. CDPR. Yeah. Riot Game. Well, that's not going to happen because Riot is 100% owned by Tencent now. And Tencent is still above. So. It's not going to happen, I don't think. Micropunk 2077. Microsoft won't ever fucking acquire Steam. I don't know. I don't think many people were expecting Microsoft to acquire Activision Blizzard for $70 billion, though. At this point, I don't really think that it's that far-fetched to think about the possibilities. I I don't think it's gonna happen either. But, like, at this point, I think it's safe to speculate a little bit. If EA runs into trouble, I wouldn't be surprised to see them acquired. Yeah. Tencent is giant too. Microsoft can't make a play for any Tencent IPs. Yeah. No. Like I said, Tencent is I mean, in the gaming, if we look at the gaming industry, it's Tencent, Microsoft, Sony, Nintendo, and I mean, you look at something like this, and I mean, companies like Nintendo, they look a little bit smaller than they previously did, but yeah, I mean, it is true. Tencent, there's not going to be any massive trades or massive sales like Tencent IPs, like look at Riot. I mean, Riot is a massive part of Tencent. Back in 2016, Tencent fully acquired Riot. And that's not, I don't think that's going to change anytime soon. Yeah, Microsoft won't buy Steam because they don't need it. It's true. I mean, they really don't, they don't need it. Did they need Activision Blizzard? No. But they see those millions and millions of, you know, of subscribers. And all of these titles that have massive player bases, new games coming out, millions of people being interested in them. All we can do is hope that something like StarCraft, we see new content, upcoming content that's already in the works, doesn't turn out to be completely terrible. And all we can do is look to the future, guys. Microsoft bought Sega. There's been a lot of people speculating about, like, Sega. Ultimately, we'll have to see. Alright, guys. In a minute, I am going to move on to the final topic of the evening, which is going to be G4. I've talked about G4 before, obviously on the channel a couple of times now. In last week's live stream and, obviously, during 4 videos? Yeah, 4 videos. But I just kind of wanted to highlight a few small new things that have happened in terms of G4. Let's be real, WoW isn't big like it used to be. True, and I have talked about that before. WoW has lost some player numbers, for sure. But World of Warcraft still has millions and millions and millions of monthly subscribers. So even though it might not be 20, 25, 30 million, we're still talking 15, 18, 20 million. So we're still talking millions. Sega almost has to be involved in a major move soon. Maybe. Only time will tell. But I'm sure in the coming months we'll hear something about them. Something. Let me scroll up really quickly. Doesn't matter if Microsoft needs it. They will do anything to be the next American version of Sony. But Microsoft can make that play anytime. Sony is worth $150 billion. Microsoft is $2.7 trillion. Microsoft has more money than God. Jesus Christ. I mean, it's not a lie, though. WoW is still around 10 plus million users. Last time I talked about the situation, it was around 15 million, kind of from what we heard. And it was previously, it was down from like 18 to 20. So it could be between 10 and 15 million, but like last year, I talked about it was like 15 or something like that. So either way, even though it might not be 30, 40 million, it's still millions of people. Oh no. Everyone's ready. All right, guys, we'll move into the final topic of the evening, and we are going to be talking about G4. I've talked about G4 in videos, in last week's live stream, the discussion stream. I think the situation with G4 has been an absolute fucking joke. I do not know why they've decided to handle the situation in the way that they have, but they did. They decided to allow Frost Kieran, one of their hosts, to go on an episode of X Play Live and rant about the gaming industry, talking about sexism in the industry. And instead of having a fair conversation about it, having multiple women or multiple people with multiple points of views, providing evidence and facts, she decided to go into it screeching about how the gaming industry is sexist, G4 viewers are sexist, and she is not sorry that she is not as bangable as the previous hosts, and how your unconscious biases ruin her day. And of course, after that, this situation blew up because G4 and X-Play, they decided to promote this shit on social media everywhere. Facebook pages, Twitter pages, live streams. They decided that this was gonna be a good look. And I've talked about Frost Kieran in the past. Last year around this time, I talked about how she put out a statement saying the gaming industry is too white, esports is blindingly white as far as the eye can see. And I thought that was terrible. And that wasn't a new situation either. Before that, she'd also made statements about the gaming industry. But this situation is completely blown up in their faces. So they allowed a host to go into a live stream, have this rant that was clearly planned. They clearly planned to promote. Go on social media and attack people who were upset. Adam Sessler did the same thing. Other G4 hosts did the same thing. And now we are seeing massive ratios on social media. We're seeing massive dislikes on videos, thousands of subscribers leaving their channels, and they have completely locked their subreddit down, removing any posts that they do not like. So starting with the video, this was from January 12th, this was the first video that kind of started it all. It says, Frost takes on treatment of women in gaming. Must watch. X-Play Live. And like I've said in videos, if she wanted to have a sit-down discussion during an episode and actually talk about her opinions about the gaming industry problems she saw with the gaming industry, and she sat down with like multiple women, multiple points of views, being respectful to the audience in general, I think a lot of people probably wouldn't be that mad. Because I'm just gonna be honest. Like I've said, there are shitheads in the gaming industry. There are people that are mean to each other, but there are shitheads in every industry. And there are shitheads no matter if it's gaming, Hollywood, whatever groups of fans online. There are people that are rude to each other and mean to each other. And when you're a social media personality, you're a public figure, you can't really take criticism to heart. Well, you can take criticism to heart, but you can't really take the mean comments to heart. You can't let those things bother you, and she very clearly did, and that's why she decided to go on the rant, because she was very mad. She was very upset. The rant wasn't very calm, cool, collected, very level-headed. She was very angry, very heated, very upset. But the way that they approached the situation was the worst way that they possibly could have, by attacking their own audience. And now the video is sitting at 3.2k likes to 30,000 dislikes, and I just want to read a couple of the comments here. People are saying things like 18k dislikes with 2.4k likes. Well, now it's much fucking higher, over 30,000 dislikes. Get fucking ratioed. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You guys brought this on yourselves. They shouldn't have allowed one of their hosts to go into a live stream and attack their core audience. Attack a whole industry filled with millions of people because your unconscious biases ruined my day. Get over it. It's not that serious. As a woman, it's very clear that all the negative comments towards her have more to do with her poor attitude than her looks. 100% fucking %. Yes, There are people online that definitely do compare individuals' looks. I'm sure that she had comments of people comparing Olivia Munn's looks to her looks. But it's not her looks that make people dislike her. It's her fucking attitude that make people dislike her. When you're being rude to your viewers that you expect to watch your content, when you're saying a whole industry is filled with sexists and bigots and ists and phobes, clearly people are not gonna like that, and clearly you're gonna take backlash over that. Is it that hard to understand? People are saying things like, the problem with this is that it's not Frosk's first time displaying this behavior, and it's true. As I've said, she's done this many, many times. She's gone on social media, attacked the gaming industry, said pretty fucking terrible things, and then went, oh, you guys are just sexists. You don't like me because I'm a woman. No. It's not that you're a woman. That's not the problem that people have. People have a problem with your general attitude and the way that you treat individuals that you expect to watch your content. Shouts at audience, you people are trash! Why does no one like me? It must be sexism. Why do girls ruin everything? Homer, oh son, you say that now, but when you're older, you'll only think it. Blaming 100% of your audience for the 2% mean comments is like the teacher failing everyone's homework because that one kid didn't do it. Actually, so fucking true. This is the truest comment I've ever seen. You can't blame 100% of your audience. You can't just say your audience is filled with sexists because you had a couple of mean comments. I'm gonna play the victim card because I'm a woman on the internet. I get mean comments all the time. In live streams, on videos. I get people saying rude shit to me all the time. I get mean comments, but everyone on the internet gets mean comments. Most people that are on the internet will at least once experience some kind of negative comment, and I don't take those comments to heart. I don't sit here and think about those comments all the time. I don't see one of those comments in my comment section and it ruins my day, and I go on a rant on a live stream going, your unconscious bias is ruining my day. You just have to move on. I understand that there is sometimes where people get really upset over situations. They get heated. They're extra bothered. It's okay to admit that you're upset over a situation and someone ruined your day and someone was a shithead to you. It's okay to admit that. But when you're going on rants saying millions of people are sexists because they don't like you, because you're not as bangable as other hosts, of course you're going to face backlash over that. Of course people aren't going to like to hear that. Of course, when you go on social media and go, the gaming community or the esports scene is blindingly white and is white as far as the eye can see, of course people aren't going to like that, and of course people are going to criticize you. Hilariously, G4 has continued to lose subscribers. They have now lost 5,000 subscribers on their official G4 TV account, and over on the XPlay account, they've lost 2,000 total subscribers. And they've decided to completely lock down their Reddit. This was a post that was made a couple of days ago that a lot of people didn't know about, but I think that it's something I wanted to read. It's from 5 days ago. It's from a G4 staff. It was on their Reddit before they decided to completely lock their Reddit down, because now they've locked their Reddit down. They're deleting negative posts. They're not allowing people to basically comment there unless it's positive-ass poly comments. One of the members said a lot of folks are having a hard time understanding that a public forum, this subreddit for example, has moderators that reserve the right to enact bans and delete comments based off of rule violations. Freedom of speech does not mean freedom of consequences. Censorship is a whole different beast. We aren't trying to censor folks for having different opinions. You guys aren't convincing me with that line. We are weeding out the folks in this community who are obviously here to spread their thoughts that no one ever asked for in bad faith. They literally pulled the "who the fuck asked for your opinion" card. Their host went on a live stream and attacked an industry filled with millions and millions of people and decided on their subreddit to basically say, "who the fuck asked for your opinions?" Oh no. Oh no. It's like, whenever they could do something to help their image, they take like 10 steps back. This includes, but is not limited to, calling Frosk a liar when you do not know her on any level and just have strong feelings about video game topics. Oh, this is an interesting part. It says, this includes, but is not limited to, calling Frosk a liar when you do not know her on any level and just have strong feelings about video game topics, saying Frosk's lived experiences aren't that big of a deal or that they're not real, especially coming from men who already are coming from a place of privilege. So they decide to say in this that you are not allowed to judge Frosk and call her a liar because you do not know her on any level. Frosk, why don't you come on a live stream with me? I'll get to know you. Send me a message on Twitter. My DMs are open for you. Why don't we have a nice conversation about this then? I'm not allowed to judge you until I see your stances and I know you on a personal level, according to your moderator, and you, in turn, shouldn't be calling me a sexist just because I'm part of the gaming industry and I do not like your opinions. It can be a mutually beneficial situation, but of course that wouldn't happen because my opinions do not align with hers, so of course she's not going to sit down and talk to someone like me. So therefore, I'm going to judge her on the internet. This part is truly interesting, especially coming from men who are already coming from a place of privilege that would need to be active listeners to understand. So basically, being a man equals automatic privilege. I think that that is complete and utter bullshit. I really, really do. I truly do. I don't think just because you have a... I don't think just because you're a certain gender means you have a certain level of privilege. I don't look at a woman and go, oh, you have more privilege because you're a female. Or I don't look at a male and go, you have more privilege because you're a man. It says you can have opinions, but once they start to dive into the realm of hurting other people or include assumptions about someone you do not even have the slightest knowledge of, that's just not okay. I agree. So you know what? Why hasn't Frost Kieran apologized for going into a live stream saying all of G4's audience are sexists? She made an assumption about me without even having the slightest knowledge of me, my personal opinions, and that was hurting other people. So where's that apology? Where's that discussion? Because I don't see her making comments about that on social media. Ah, rules for thee, but not for me. Many of y'all really need to calm down and keep some of your ideals to yourself or to subs that are made special for them. The mods and I do not care what political affiliation you have, nor how you vote. We care that many folks here are adding vitriol to this discussion about someone who is trying to stand up for injustice. Hasn't Frost Kieran made political statements like, if you're a Trump supporter, don't watch me? Oh, wait. So in this subreddit, they don't like political conversations, right? Okay. But Frost Kieran can go on social media, someone who is a G4 host, and make comments like this, and she doesn't get in trouble for it? Oh, okay. I see the game you guys are playing. But you're allowing civil discussion, even if it's not the opinions you like. Sure, guys. You're really fooling us here. It says, thank you to everyone having civil discussions, showing support, or just backing away while this moves forward. And they're completely and utterly, they're just there wiping this subreddit. This was a post someone had put up. It says over 5K subs nuked since last Thursday. This was from yesterday, and the moderators deleted it. And it says, sorry, this post has been removed by the moderators of G4 TV. And I have a screenshot of it. Of the original post, because I had seen it and people were literally commenting on it like, I don't know how this hasn't been deleted yet. I don't know how this post is still up. Oh, here it is. This was the original post. It says, Frosk is a beast. She single-handedly nuked over 5K subscribers in 4 days. Can't no other G4 hosts take any credit for that. She's a beast. She's so strong, she's lolling the hits to the bank in her inbox, looking like weak-ass Xbox Live inbox, which she literally said. She seems so unaffected by the backlash, but wait, she appeared to be very troubled in the initial X-Play rant. But no, that wasn't... I mean, it was a bit antagonistic. But that's it. And they deleted that post. Wow, guys. They seem very inclusive. People that claim to be inclusive that are banning people for having the wrong opinions? Oh my gosh. I'm shocked. Truly. I never thought it would come to this. I thought that they were really as inclusive as they said they were. Oh my gosh. I feel lied to. Well, guys, those are the only updates I have on G4. They're nuking their subreddit. They're deleting any comments. They're saying freedom of speech doesn't mean freedom of consequences, and they're literally deleting any posts that have to do with Frost that they simply don't like, even if they don't break the rules. Those are the kind of the topics I had to talk about tonight, guys. Troy Baker and NFTs, Russ, Joss Whedon, Microsoft G4. I am going to stick around for about 15 more minutes, so if you guys have any questions, any topics you want me to discuss, feel free to leave them in chat. If you guys want to support the channel, please give the stream a like. Check out the links in the description. Donate via Streamlabs. Become a member via YouTube memberships. You get access to special emotes and a badge next to your name in chat and in our Discord server. Consider becoming a Dark Titan via Patreon. Tomorrow night, guys, at 8 p.m. Eastern, I will be doing a supporter-only live stream. So, if you support via YouTube memberships, Patreon, donations, stuff like that, you do get access to the live stream. And I will be, I'll be doing that stream tomorrow. So, thank you guys for being here. But I am going to hang around for 15 or so more minutes. Oh, by the way, G4. Enhance. Jesus Christ. Go away, Xavier Woods. You're a shitty wrestler. You know that? That's why you gotta be on fucking G4, because you're a bad wrestler. New Day didn't work out for you, huh, buddy? Look, guys! What is this? Moderator list is hidden. Wow. They decided to hide their moderator list.
Rover donated $100.
It's too funny. It's comedy. It's fucking comedy. Thank you, Rover, for the $100 donation. Big dono. Holy shit, thank you so much. Thank you. Stream re-monetized. That's it, alright. But they decided to hide their moderator list. Seems great. Thank you for the donation, though. Much appreciated. Cyber Police? Yeah. Vera with the wrestling shot. Listen, he's on G4 for a reason. He's on G4 because he was bad at wrestling.
They were far from perfect. I mean, like far.
It's a no from me. New Day was kind of cool when they started. But, like, for me, wrestling got kind of stale after they fired, like, fucking CM Punk, AJ. They broke up the Shield. Brock Lesnar beat The Undertaker. That was very fucking stupid. New Day? I don't know. New Day sucked. New Day was kind of cool at the very beginning when they were just like coming in fucking wrecking house. But besides that, they were shit. It's under the G4 TV rules. No fun. I guess that's true. No fun. Yeah, believe me, we can fucking tell. That's why Frost Kieran went on that rant. CM Punk going back to AEW was huge. It is pretty fucking cool. I haven't really given a single fuck about AEW. I'm just gonna keep it a stack. I didn't really care. Where's Nakamura? I'll watch wherever Nakamura is. Where's Nakamura? Is he WWE still? Yeah, he is. Okay, WWE, you brought me back. You brought me back from the brink. And like, isn't like Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins, aren't they all AEW now? What's going on with Mr. fucking Roman Reigns? I hate Brock Lesnar. We're not talking about Brock Lesnar. Don't. He's on SmackDown, is he? Nakamura? I like Nakamura. I'd watch wherever he is. Intercontinental Champion, gotcha. Book of Wokafet. Funny enough, Tamura Morrison, who plays Boba Fett, actually came out in an interview and said that he thought that Boba Fett talked too much, and he didn't like the direction they were taking Boba Fett in, which I just think is really hilarious. Even he doesn't like the direction they took it in. Rollins is still WWE. Man, when you guys reunite the Shield, I'll watch. I'll simp. The Power Rangers, those bikes. Listen, there are colorful vehicles in Star Wars, 100%. There are colorful vehicles in Star Wars, but those little motorbike things looked so dumb. I feel like they should have just went for like 2 colors, maybe like a black one and a gold one, or like a silver and a gold one. I think that could have went a lot better, but you got blue, red, yellow, green, purple, orange. You've got too much going on. It's so obnoxious. Who thought that was gonna look cool? Looking like a lot of little soy boys. AEW is a far better product. I haven't given AEW enough of a shot. I figured it was just gonna kind of fall flat. Spy Kids vehicles in Star Wars, actually true though. It literally looks like Spy Kids. It looks so terrible. I don't know who thought that was gonna be a good idea. Here it is. I'll mute the music really quick.
I was hoping not to say as much as I
hopefully you can hear this
already in the first 2 episodes. I speak far too much. In fact, in the beginning,
he doesn't
I was
even
trying to get past my lines on to Ming Na. Excuse me, director. I really feel that Ming Na should say these lines.
Even he knew more about his character than Disney did. Even he knew what should have happened with Boba Fett. He knew what he wanted with his character, and they didn't even listen to him.
I want to stay mysterious. Right. I want to stay quiet.
Yeah. He wasn't. Oh, and then I caught on. He just wanted to do less work. No, he just knows his character. Fa Mulan. He just knows his character and knows what people want.
So yeah, but and when
he didn't approve of what they did.
John's, one of the key writers.
Man.
And so sometimes I'd always say, I think this is too much. I think this is too much then I'd go to, oh,
And they didn't listen to him. If only they had listened to him. People would have been so much happier. I don't like the route they're going with Boba Fett being a good guy and being like a positive ass nice Polly. I'm not banned yet. I'm not blocked yet. I'm not blocked yet. One day soon, coming to a Twitter page near you. These people never. Well, I guess not never. Jason Schreier blocked me. It's a shame that they didn't listen to Morrison and what he wanted for his character, or else I think that it could have turned out a lot better. But they, alas, they didn't. And it's a shame. If only they had. Why do a spin-off of Bo-Katan? I like Bo-Katan. Like, I don't think that that's necessarily a terrible idea. I feel like there are a lot better characters they could have went with, though. Maybe better stories they could have went with. It's rough. Because we know that they're not going to do good. So, why talk about things that we'd rather happen so that they end up doing those different storylines and then they're garbage anyway. The only one I'm looking forward to is Obi-Wan, because Ewan McGregor, Hayden Christensen, I am going to try to give Obi-Wan a chance. I really truly hope that it turns out to be really fucking good. I also hope Ahsoka turns out to be really good. But we'll see. Mary, you gotta quit getting blocked around the world. What can I say? I'm collecting them all like a fucking quarter book. I'm collecting all the blocks. I'm gonna get the screenshot of the blocked message and print them out. And I'm gonna create a book of them, and I'm gonna sell the book. Vera's Banned Book Blockbuster. Something like that. $49.99. Barnes & Noble. Did Pedro Pascal leave Lucasfilm after they fired Gina? So as far as we know, he wasn't fired, he didn't leave or anything, but he is signed for other projects in, like, The Last of Us. But he didn't ever agree with Gina Carano's opinions, so he probably was for her getting... He was for her getting canceled and getting fired, so he wouldn't leave for her. Or to make a point about her. I liked Pedro Pascal in Game of Thrones. Yeah, I agree. Not holding my breath for those. Very, very true. I agree. It's a slippery slope. You try to give companies a chance, they end up screwing it up and doing a terrible job. But, alright, you guys, I am going to wrap up the live stream here. Thank you all so much for stopping by tonight. I do really appreciate it. If you enjoyed the live stream, make sure to give it a like. If you didn't give it a dislike, every Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern, I do my weekly discussion stream where I talk about newest situations going on in the gaming and entertainment industries. Tomorrow evening at 8 p.m. Eastern, I will be doing a supporter-only live stream. So if you are a member via YouTube memberships, Patreon, donator, stuff like that, you get access. Join our Discord server. We're very active there. I do tag you all when I go live in case YouTube doesn't notify you of live streams. I do post the links in the supporter channel, the community tab via YouTube memberships, and also on Patreon. And then on Thursday, I'll be doing a gameplay stream. I will let you guys know what it's going to be, probably tomorrow. And then over the weekend, I'll be starting some kind of new game, new story game. And we're just going to kind of go from there. Check out the past few days worth of videos. Things like G4, Batgirl director attacking DC fans, Xbox, Phil Spencer admitting that Xbox is not a free speech platform. And yeah, thank you for the donations, for the support tonight, guys. Much appreciated. Check out the links in the description. Patreon, memberships, Discord, Twitter, Minds, BitChute Odyssey, all that fun stuff. And I will see you guys around. Thank you for stopping by and have a fantastic evening, everyone.